mother threatened to cut me from her will unless I married her choice. I showed her that her money meant nothing to me. My mother, Renata, controlled everything in our family with money. She inherited a significant fortune from my grandfather and used it like a weapon her entire life. She decided where we lived based on what neighborhoods impressed her friends. She decided what schools we attended based on whose children went there. She decided what careers we pursued based on what sounded prestigious at dinner parties. Every major decision in my life had to pass through her approval or face the threat of financial consequences. Growing up, I didn't realize this was unusual. I thought all mothers held money over their children's heads. I thought phrases like, "You'll get nothing when I die," were normal parts of family conversations. I thought love and inheritance were the same thing. By the time I understood how twisted this was, I was already deep in the cycle of trying to earn her approval. I became a lawyer because she wanted a lawyer in the family. I dated people she approved of because she threatened to stop paying my student loans if I didn't. I attended events I hated and smiled at people I couldn't stand because she reminded me constantly that my future comfort depended on staying in her good graces. My younger brother figured out the game earlier than I did. He rebelled at 17 and moved across the country at 18. My mother cut him off completely and told everyone he was dead to her. She changed her will publicly and made sure the whole family knew he would receive nothing. She used him as an example of what happened when children disobeyed. I watched and learned to stay quiet. Then I met someone my mother didn't choose. His name was Franklin, and he worked as a carpenter. He built custom furniture for wealthy clients and made a decent living doing work he genuinely loved. We met at a coffee shop when he complimented the book I was reading. We talked for 2 hours, and I gave him my number without thinking about what my mother would say. For the first 6 months, I kept Franklin's secret. I told my mother I was too busy with work to date. I saw him on weekends and pretended I was visiting friends. I fell in love while lying to everyone about it. Eventually, my mother found out because she always found out. She had friends everywhere who reported back to her. Someone saw me with Franklin at a restaurant and described him as working class. My mother called me, immediately demanding an explanation. I told her the truth. I said I'd been dating someone for 6 months and I was happy. She asked what he did for a living. I told her. She said absolutely not. She said I would end things immediately or face consequences. She said she had someone better in mind for me. His name was Lawson, and he was the son of one of her wealthy friends. He worked in finance and came from old money and looked exactly like the kind of husband my mother could brag about. She'd been planning this match for years, apparently. She just hadn't told me until now. I said I wasn't interested in Lawson. I said I was in love with Franklin. She said love was irrelevant and financial security was what mattered. She said Franklin could never provide the life I deserved. She said if I didn't end things and give Lawson a chance, she would remove me from her will entirely. I would get nothing. Not the house, not the investments, not the jewelry, not any of it. I would be as dead to her as my brother was. I asked for time to think. She gave me 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, I did a lot of thinking, but not about what she expected. I thought about my brother who had been cut off for years and somehow survived. I thought about Franklin who built beautiful things with his hands and never once asked about my family's money. I thought about myself and the person I had become, trying to please a woman who only loved me conditionally. I thought about what I actually wanted from life versus what my mother had decided I should want. At the end of 2 weeks, I called my mother. I told her I chose Franklin. She said she was disappointed but not surprised. She said I was making the biggest mistake of my life. She said she would have her lawyer change the will by the end of the week. She said I should remember this moment when I was struggling in a few years, while Lawson's wife lived comfortably. Then she hung up. I expected to feel devastated. Instead, I felt free. The threat she had held over me my entire life finally landed, and I was still standing. She had no more power over me because she had used her only weapon. I couldn't be threatened with something that had already happened. I threw myself into building a life that didn't depend on her money. I worked harder at my law firm and got promoted twice in 3 years. I moved in with Franklin and we bought a small house together. I reconnected with my brother who had built a successful life without any family support. I learned that money from my mother would have come with strings attached forever, and I was better off earning my own. My mother didn't speak to me for 2 years. She told relatives I had chosen a construction worker over my own family. She told her friends I had thrown away my future for someone beneath me. She painted herself as the victim of an ungrateful daughter who didn't appreciate sacrifice. Then her health started declining. Full story on channel, link below.